Hey, Eden Vikings. So this is week 3 of our journal unit, which means we are in polishing week. So today your lesson is going to cover a couple of important things. And we want to just real quick give you what is the purpose of this week. So it is, we're going to be choosing one of those journal entries that you've written over the last 2 weeks to polish. Now, polishing means that you're going to be submitting this polished draft to Google Classroom, an assignment that your teacher will be posting there, and it will be due on February 8th, 2020. Haha. So the polished piece is also going to get published to a Padlet for our community of students, teachers, and parents to view. Your post will be anonymous, unless, of course, you put your name on it, right? So, but we're wanting to keep that an anonymous place so that you can feel comfortable to post there and not have to worry if anyone knows it's you, right? Unless you tell them. Yeah.
And so for today's lesson, the first step is choosing a piece that you want to say more about and has the potential to grow through the process of polishing. And Ms. Brazilius is going to walk us through that in just a moment. The second part to this lesson is to choose 2 strategies to start polishing in order to elaborate on your ideas. And each strategy has its own video to explore the strategy and resources available. And that's on the second page of the prompt page for today, Monday, May 4th.
Okay, so when choosing a piece to publish, we want you to think about some specific things, but also keep in mind, right? So we want you to think about a piece that is focused on the written work, right? So if you have mostly pictures in it, then that might be something we don't use, right? We're going to keep that in mind. Photographs, sketch notes, we want it to be something that you can write and grow as more ideas. You also want to make sure that you think about choosing a piece that is meaningful and impactful to you, and you wouldn't mind others reading. We don't want these to be too personal. So it kind of goes back to that whole, it's going to be anonymous when we publish on Padlet, but we also want it to be something that's really meaningful. I have to just kind of put in here real quick that I know that Ms. Musich and Ms. Zanetti and Ms. Yin and even Mr. DB, we've all been talking about how incredible your pieces have been. You've brought us joy and laughter and tears because you have been just writing and reflecting so deeply and so well. So, but we want you to recognize too that not everyone needs to read what you write in those, and that you choose something that while it's meaningful to you, it's also something you are comfortable sharing. And then the last thing we want you to think about is that once you find that piece, we want you to make sure that it's something that you feel like you have more you can say or more that you want to say, right? We don't want you to choose something that you already feel is done, but rather something you can grow and revise and make better. So really think through your pieces, read back through them, and just take some time and choose well, because you're going to be using that piece all week long.
Great advice, Ms. Brazilius. So we put together some elaboration strategies that aren't descriptive or figurative language, because that will be covered later this week. And the 5 strategies that we have for you today are: use the exact thoughts or words from a person, show someone's feelings through what they do, use specific words to paint a picture, cause and effect, and last but not least, compare and contrast. So if you go onto the prompt page for today, and you can see that right here, that first one, use the exact thoughts or words from a person, that is a live link to an additional video that's just about that strategy. So this introductory video, the video prompt, is not going to cover the specific strategies within themselves. And so each of these later today, later this week, will have active links attached to them. Now, the rest of this table, that middle column, says tips, tricks, and examples. So you might want to go through that before investing your time in watching a video about what the video might cover. And in that middle column, there's even some links to some anchor charts that might be helpful and useful in your development and use of these elaboration strategies. The last piece to this table is the recommended 4. These are, we went through each of these strategies and thought, well, this strategy would be good for this type of writing. So we picked 4, so opinion, expository, informative, and narrative. And so after you've chosen your piece, your journal entry that you want to polish, you need to ask yourself, well, what type of writing is this? And then again, that might help you narrow down what strategy you use in polishing for today. So just keep in mind all of these pieces, and happy elaborating.
All right.
English out.
Hey Egan, Miss Zanetti here. I'm just going to take you through really quickly a brief overview of a teacher example for what I chose to do for my polished piece this week, and the 2 strategies that I chose to use from Miss Musich's and Miss Brazelius's wonderfully brilliant writing prompt page that will support you with the Monday expectations of this polished piece. So here we go. Okay, so your first step for today was to choose a piece, and they went over briefly already how to select that piece. The piece that I'm going to choose, this is my digital journal. Yours will look different, or if you have a hard copy journal, that's great. So did I, and I just uploaded my pictures here. So the piece that I'm gonna choose to work on is gonna be actually from week 1, and it's from the Wednesday, Thursday art block, my 3rd journal entry, where I chose 2 photos from the Getty News website or whatever it was that was linked to that prompt page, and I chose these 2 photos to respond to. So my first step, given that this is, a handwritten piece and it's something that I need to submit on Friday, is to type it up. So as far as 7th grade goes, you're going to see in Google Classroom, once you switch over to classwork, that there's going to be something posted, and we've already assigned you a blank Google Doc for you to either copy and paste from a digital journal, if that's what you are using, or to type up your chosen piece. So you're going to open up this polished piece. There's going to be a blank Google Doc. You're either copying and pasting from your digital journal, or you're taking the time to just type up your written response really quickly. So here is mine. I just typed up my handwritten journal entry, and this makes me even more glad that I chose this piece, because when we handwrite, things usually look a lot like, it looks like we wrote a lot more. So when I typed this up, I realized that I actually didn't write that much, which is good because I have a lot of room to add and a lot of room to grow. So looking at the the list of strategies that we could choose from for today to elaborate, I chose 2 that I thought picked my piece most, and my piece is like an opinion piece, right? Because I'm just responding with what these 2 pictures make me think about. So the first piece that I chose, or the first strategy of elaboration, was using the exact thoughts or words from a person. So it's recommended for an opinion piece, so I'm good on that. And I felt like I could just do one or more of these things really well to elaborate on my written response. So the first thing that already stood out to me for this strategy, and another reason why I chose it, was where it says to feel free to pull quotes from the resources assigned. So when I first decided to choose this piece, I went back and had to find those photos to copy and paste into my polished piece document, and I didn't realize that these photos actually have captions on them as well. So now what I'm going to do to add to elaborate on my polished piece is that I'm going to copy and paste these quotes or captions from these photos to give me more to respond to. And I think I'm going to do it in the very beginning. So I'm just going to copy and paste. Oh, that was the wrong photo. So copy and paste this one down there. And I'm also going to highlight this, and I might change the color of all of my work for today so that I know what I have added on this Monday. So it's really clear to me like how much of this has been elaborated on today. And then I'm just going to take my other quote really quickly. There we go. Okay, so these are 2 additions I've made already to this piece today. And then I'm going to probably space down my opinion a little bit, and I'm going to give myself some room to just respond to this caption. Like, what do I think this caption is saying? What does it tell me a little more about this? Picking out some words, like the word that they chose to use, deserted, like that's a pretty powerful word to describe something as normal as a parking lot. That's interesting. I could build off that. And then I'm going to go through and see if there are any other things in here that I would want to do. So I'll definitely use those quotes as foundation for my thinking, and I'll probably think about a lot of these questions as I'm adding to my response. So the other strategy that I really wanted to do that seemed, applicable to my response was this using specific words to paint a picture. And I like this idea of using strong verbs, nouns, and traits in my response, because I think it'll be really doable for me to add those things. So I opened up all these anchor charts and I just read through them just to see like what I could use. And I'm already seeing like a lot of really great examples for how I might just go through really quickly and just take apart some of the words in my response to make them a little bit stronger. So these are what I'm going to be using. I'm not going to do it all right now because that would be boring for you to watch, but my teacher example will be linked to either the Padlet you've been seeing, or it'll be attached as a separate document or whatever. But I'm going to try to get this done so that you have an example of what like a before and after polished piece looks like just on the Monday today. So I'm not done with it after today, but I'm just using the 2 strategies from today's lesson to make it better already so that I already have it, it's on its way to being revised for when I want to publish it on Friday. And that's all. So have fun choosing your strategies and elaborating on your first polished piece, and we will talk to you later.